So you're probably asking how I got into this situation. By the way, that's me strapped inside of that stock car. So the cat's out of the bag and I got invited to North Carolina by NASCAR and iRacing to go try out the new NASCAR 25 game. So yeah, I'm gonna go over the trip and we're gonna talk about the game towards the end. I do want to go ahead and say, because I've seen it on Twitter, a couple people saying, well, why did he get invited, or why didn't you invite this other person? Well, I definitely do hope the dedicated NASCAR channels, especially the gaming ones, get to try this early. I have a really long history with NASCAR games. I've been playing them since the PS1, since the NASCAR Racing and NASCAR 97 games. And it was a yearly release that I looked forward to. And admittedly, I would say the past 10 or so years has been pretty rough for NASCAR gaming. So I was excited when the manager said, hey, they want to fly you out to Charlotte and try the game. And I was so excited, I was ready just to go the next day. Like, I was ready to go buy a plane ticket and get to fly out there just to try the game. So the way it worked, we actually got to go to NASCAR Productions, which is their big studio facility where they host some of the broadcast. And I'm assuming they do a lot of the maybe the driver intros and stuff like that. And the space they set up was like a full studio, like cameras everywhere. And immediately, as soon as I got in, I locked eyes onto the monitors and I could see NASCAR 25 and I was like, just let me play it. But yeah, we did get to spend time playing it. And like I said, I'll go over the specifics here in a little bit and plus show off some new screenshots. But I was like locked in. When they set us down, they handed us headsets and we had like a camera recording us. And I had to remember because I went out and tried, I think it was Texas was my first thing I ever tried because it's my home track. And I have to remember I had to switch on my YouTuber mode because I wasn't talking at first. I was so focused. I was like, I'm getting to play the game. I want to feel like what it feels like. So I eventually had to click on the YouTuber brain, which by the way, you should see that gameplay. Hopefully relatively soon they're actually going to send us the screen recordings of it, but you can see it in the background obviously in the studio shots. So let's go over the rest of the trip. It was cool after we got to play the game. We got sent over to the NASCAR R&D Center and I immediately started geeking out as soon as we got inside the building, which I don't think a lot of people get to go in here. The Garage 56 car was sitting right there and it is the Garage 56, the one they raced at Le Mans. Like still all the rubber, the damage, it's all there. It was absolutely spectacular getting to walk up and touch the car. They also had their electric prototype there and then a lot of the next gen prototypes. But yeah, we didn't get to film a whole lot in the R&D center because it is a very like kind of secretive place. A lot of stuff goes on with safety and like development on the cars, but it was an honor to get to walk through there. Then next we got over to Hendrick Motorsports, which that was my favorite team growing up. I was a Jeff Gordon guy and it's freaking awesome. I got some footage of like the lobby. We got some of the pit stop practice that we'll show you. We did get an exclusive tour with Chad Knaus, Jimmy Johnson's ex-crew chief. He's now like I think he's like the head of operations. And we were allowed to film in certain areas, but we were going to have to send our footage off to Hendrick and NASCAR to get it approved because obviously it's a very sophisticated facility and there might be some secrets that they don't want to show the world. So I elected not to really record inside of the shop. I was really just absorbing it because it is a busy place. It's super clean. All the cars are just rolling around. There's hundreds of workers just going at it, like working on little different things. And honestly, it's such a well-oiled like machine. It is absolutely insane. But like I said, I did get to capture some things, some old cars that are in the museum, and then we have the pit stop practice, which is absolutely insane. We got lucky. We went right when they were doing live pit stops, so we got to capture a little bit of that. And then they took us off to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We got to sign a waiver before we got in, just in case, you know, I pull a Beam G and hit a wall. But it was really cool. We had Anthony Alfredo from the Xfinity Series run some Cup Series races too, and Nick Sanchez from the Xfinity Series actually do the ride-alongs. I got in with Anthony. And yeah, it's pretty insane. They're fast. I mean, they obviously aren't like full-powered stock cars, but they get going and it tosses you around in the corners. It's definitely something I would suggest everybody try. The NASCAR experience, I think, is probably like the next best thing. But it was really cool getting to get in there with drivers, like active drivers, and they were out there, I think, to try to scare us. We rode up by the wall, we rode down on the lower part of the track, and the G's that you pull in the corner, it's amazing. So that was honestly really cool. I told Anthony Alfredo to scare my wife because she got to ride with him too, which aka Pandora, if anybody's asking who that is. So yeah, let's talk about the game. The trip was amazing. Like, I would have went without even the whole experience. Like, I just wanted to play the game. Getting to try it, giving to actually give the dev some feedback and what I'm feeling and what I'm enjoying was awesome, because they are straightforward and honest with us about like what's ready to go and what's still being worked on. So first impressions, I went out to Texas, my home track, and I was like, I'm gonna just run some practice and see what it feels like. And it was pretty immediate. I was in the cup car, by the way, like pulling up pit road. I could tell I could spin the car out. Like, there was wheel spin. I'm assuming, playing with assist on. I didn't actually go into the menus to tweak any of that. I was just trying to get to as many tracks as possible to try out all the different styles. But I immediately noticed the car was like really super tight. Like, I went down into turn 1, in which Texas is relatively flat. I pushed all the way out to the wall, and I was like, okay, I need to go get into the setups, which I guess the dev was watching. So he was like, oh yeah, you're like the first person to go in there and actually start tweaking and changing the setup, which I was using. It's more like a slider from like tight to loose. I didn't go into anything in depth as far as the setup. So as soon as I upped it quite a bit more to the loose side, I started running fairly competitive laps. And I noticed I had to do that with pretty much most tracks that I was at. I had to knock it a little bit looser, which I do like a looser car when it comes to like oval racing. I don't like the car plowing. That's just a thing. So I got to try it out. I tried the Xfinity Series out. I did it at Vegas. Tried running different lines. You could definitely tell the tracks. They look great. They're from iRacing, and I'm assuming they've been tweaked some, but it like looks amazing. Like, Vegas has quite a few bumps in the turn 1 and 2. And I noticed myself when I was playing it, I was purposely running the wall. Like, I would run down low, and I played a little bit with some AI. I was having a pretty decent race with Almirola, and every time I would go low, the car wasn't comfortable. It would push up, and I would lose a ton of time. But I realized, and I hope this is a thing that kind of sticks and you'll be able to do it once the AI is finalized. I realized that running the wall in the Xfinity car was actually quite awesome. And I was able to finally track down after about 10 laps of running behind Almirola and get around him. So I thought that was really cool. I tried stuff like Darlington. I tried the truck out. I believe that was at Daytona. I didn't want to spend too much time at Daytona because, I mean, everybody knows how it's going to drive. It's going to be wide open. Just as long as the steering's okay, you know, you're good to go there. I did go to Bristol and Darlington, both pretty challenging. Bristol, immediately it wanted to go up, and I was running the low side for a little bit, but I realized that the wall was actually really cool because you could like throw it in, slide up to the wall, and then try to drive off it. So that was really awesome. And then Darlington, well, it's Darlington. You're going to hit the wall a lot. And I was happy because it seemed like you don't get the sticky walls that you get in some of the other NASCAR games where when you hit it, it instantly slows you down like 20 miles an hour. It felt like you could actually use it up a little bit. Yeah, car handling was great. I liked the presentation that I saw, the before the race, after the race. The menus are nice. The UI is really clear. It seemed like the AI were qualifying in the right spots. I know they used some actual reference from real world. So like every time I would run a qualifying session, I would kind of go through and see where everybody was qualifying. And it's like, this looks realistic. You're not getting like a back marker that's right at the front row or something. But yeah, it was still in development. We got to watch the beginning of career mode. Really cool video. I don't know how much I can talk about it. It's pretty much already been explained. Like, you start in the ARCA series and you're in like a kind of like a barn and you work your way up. I guess you get shop upgrades or something. So that was really cool. I really do kick myself. I'm one of those people like with either like racing games. A lot of times it's mostly sports games. I like to go in and see the stats on like the drivers. And there was a stats page right in the menu. And I don't know why I didn't click on it. I guess I was so focused on getting in and playing the tracks because I knew we had a limited amount of time. But I really, really probably should have done that because I was just genuinely curious, like, where everybody ranks. But yeah, overall, it was a very positive experience. I'm as excited as I've ever been for a NASCAR game coming to... We were playing on PC, by the way. We were using controllers. I didn't get to try out a wheel or anything, but the controller handled really well. But yeah, I'm ready to play it. I'm excited for the console people. I'm excited for... it is going to come out on PC. I don't know if they have the exact date for the PC stuff. I'm sure more of that will get announced when we get closer. But it ran good. It looked good. Needed some tweaking. Like I said, they were really upfront about, hey, this is what's being worked on. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer what I can down below. But we should be getting more information here really soon. Like I said, I want to thank iRacing, NASCAR 25 for putting this all together. And hopefully we'll be bringing some more footage to you guys here soon on the channel.